What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be doing an oil change on this 2011 Hyundai Elantra, and I'm going to show you guys the tools that we need. First of all, we're going to need some gloves. Then we're going to need a oil funnel. We're going to need some rags. We're going to need a container so we could drain the oil into. We're going to need a oil filter wrench. This is going to come in handy once we have to remove the oil filter. Next, we're going to need some jack stands. Then we're going to need either a wrench that's 17 millimeters or this ratchet with a 17 millimeter socket. Then we're going to need a jack. And last but not least, of course, we're going to need the oil. This car uses 5W20. And we're going to need the correct oil filter for the vehicle. Now that we have all the tools, we can get started with this oil change. You can identify what kind of oil your vehicle takes by checking the oil fill cap. Like I said before, this car takes 5W20. The next thing you want to do is locate the oil filter. The oil filter in this car is accessible through the bottom of the vehicle. Let me show you guys where it is. There, the oil filter is right there. And the oil drain plug, which is the 17 millimeter bolt, is that one right there. So we're gonna be unscrewing that first. Once the oil is drained, then we're gonna be removing the oil filter. All right, guys, so make sure the ratchet is set to the off position or counterclockwise. Set that 17 millimeter right over the bolt. We're just gonna break it loose. That's it. Get our pan ready where we're gonna catch all the dirty oil. And that's it. Make sure we put this in a safe spot. And now let's move over to the oil filter where this is draining. We're just gonna position a wrench right over it, like this. Same thing, we're gonna turn counterclockwise. Let's get a good grip of it. There we go. Shouldn't be too tight. There we go. Let's get our pan ready. Now we're just gonna unscrew it. So the oil's gonna drain out. See, guys, this is why we wear gloves. This oil was really dirty. And that's it for the oil filter. You want to make sure when you remove it that this black gasket is still attached to the filter. If it's not, it's probably attached to the oil filter housing. And if you could get a good view of it. And that's the oil filter housing. Next, we're going to get a rag. It's going to wipe that down. There you go, nice and clean. See, there's no gasket there. All right, guys, so let's prep the new oil filter. Real simple. What you want to do is put some new oil over this gasket here. This is the gasket that I was talking about. Make sure that it's not stuck to the oil filter housing. In order to do that, dip your finger in the new oil, and we're just going to rub some oil over the gasket here like this. Very simple. Another thing that you can do to eliminate a dry start is pour some oil inside this middle hole right here of the oil filter. We're gonna go ahead and just fill it up about 1/3 of the way here, just to make sure that this is already pre-filled with some oil. And that's it, we're ready to install. Okay guys, so we're just gonna take the new oil filter and screw it right on the oil filter housing. Simple as that. Now these you want to hand tighten. You never want to use the wrench because you don't want to puncture it or anything like that. So let's just make sure it's nice and tight. And that's it. Simple as that. Next thing we want to do is install the drain plug. All the oil's already drained out. All we have is a small drip. Just gonna clean up that area a little bit. You always want to start the bolts by hand first. And then we're going to take our socket ratchet, the 17mm, and tighten it up. You don't want it to be too tight. That's it. If you're not sure about how tight it's supposed to be, you could always check your car specs to see how many foot-pounds of torque it needs, and you'll have to use a torque wrench. But I mean, just tighten it up, you know, not as hard as you can, just give it a little bit of a tug and it should be good. Next thing you want to do is remove the oil fill cap. Place the funnel right over it. And for this car, we removed around 3.5 quarts. So first we're going to add 3.5 quarts. Then we're going to check the oil level right here. Now the car is leveled on the ground so that we can get an accurate reading once we check the oil level. All right, after we added the correct amount of oil, we're going to start the car, let it run for about 30 seconds, shut it off, and then we'll check the oil level. What you want to do first is clean the dipstick. This car is very, very simple. So you can see it's got an L right here for low and a full up here. So you just want the oil to be somewhere in between, as close as possible to the full, but you don't want to overfill it. Once it's being cleaned, we'll stick it back inside. Take it straight out. You don't want to tilt it sideways or anything like that. And this car is below the low, so we're gonna have to add about another quart. Looks like the 3.5 quarts that we took off from this car was not enough. So what it's telling me is that this car was running low oil before we even did the oil change. All right guys, so the last thing you want to do is double check everything for leaks while the car is on. So yeah, it doesn't look like anything is dripping. The car has been on for about 5 minutes, so the oil's nice and warm, circulating everywhere. It's at the correct level. And this right here concludes our oil change tutorial.